Hey crafty friends, do you guys have like a whole stash of paper that you are not using? I definitely do. I have a ton of it, and I have a ton of 6x6. I have a bunch of 12x12. I just have a bunch of paper. So my New Year's resolution for 2023 is to use some of this paper. So one sheet at a time, I'm going to work my way through it. So I picked out this one to start today, and I've already cut this up. And the best news is I can get 2 cards out of this one 6x6. So I cut this at 3 inches and 3 inches, and this right here is at 5 1/4. These two are going to become scraps. I might be able to put them on the inside of my cards to decorate, but let's see how that goes. Then I also cut a piece of dark cardstock, and I picked this because I really like the way the paw prints kind of jump off of it. Obviously pick a color that coordinates with whatever piece you picked, and this piece here is at 5 1/2 and it is at 7 1/4, and I'm going to score this at 4 1/4 so we get a fold that looks a little bit like this. So it's short on this end, so it's going to give us a little bit of a fun fold, but one that's so easy that you know, it's not complicated for the sender or the receiver to get. And the first thing I'm going to do, and the easiest thing we're going to do, is we're going to go ahead and we're going to glue our paw print paper right there. Okay. And the next thing I'm going to do is I found a sentiment that I wanted to use. And the sentiment is from Technique Junkies. It says, true love has 4 paws, and I just thought that was really, really sweet. A lot of my family has pets, whether it's cats or dogs, so I thought this would be perfect. So what I did was I took my stamp, because this is the sentiment I wanted to use, and I went and found a piece of white scrap paper from my bin that was about the same size. This turns out to be 4 inches by 3 inches, just a little bit bigger, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment onto this paper. Okay, so the color I chose to use is Dark Chocolate by Altenew. I think that might be the best match I have for this really dark paper. Let's see how close it is. Stamp it again, see if we can get it a little darker. Oh yeah. Okay. Remember, you can always stamp your stamps multiple times. It does lots of things. First, it gets you a complete impression, but also every time you stamp, it gets a shade darker. So you can get more than one color out of your ink pads. And I think, again, that's the brown, the shade of brown that I'm going for. So we can get rid of our stamp positioner here. And the next thing I'm going to do is adhere our sentiments down onto this cardstock. And because I did this custom, and if you're doing it at home, you probably also want to do it custom, what I did was I took the panel that we decided for our sentiment and I made it a 1/2 inch bigger and scored it. Double check to make sure that's true. Yes, this is a 1/2 inch. So we can go ahead and glue on our sentiment. And this is going to become a little flap on our card. And we can go ahead and fold this. Get our bone folder out. And then we're almost done with the base. I'm going to do some decorating here, but this piece here is cut by 4 by 5 1/4, and what we're gonna do is I'm not sure, I think I'm gonna use just regular glue. I think it'll be fine. You don't want to put an obscene amount of glue here, just a little bit, and you can use any kind of glue. I'm just using cheap glue because this is not really important here. And I'm just lining up that flap with the edge of the paper and centering this where it needs to go. And now I can put glue on the back of this whole thing and glue it into our card. And this way we know that that flap won't go anywhere because we're going to put glue on this. And I'm just centering that between the score line and the edge of the card. And so now we have the base of our card. Obviously, I'm going to do a little bit of embellishment here because this looks very, very plain. But I love how this came together. So you open the flap, and then you have your area to write the inside message. We could, I'm not sure exactly what I'm doing, but we could put a little piece of this here. I'm going to play around here for a second. So I'll pop back in with you and show you how I finish this up. I had these extra pieces. I used one, I made 2 of these, right? So I used a little bit on the other one. But I'm going to add this one here to the inside of this panel. Oh, I guess it should be lined up there. Okay. So right there, just to add a little bit of that brown, that light brown on the inside. And then I have this piece here. I guess that's too short. I think I'm just gonna, we'll just add that to my scrap bin. I think this is enough. And so there we have the inside. And then I went through my stash and I found I had a die of a Labrador. We have a lab. And it's a lab mix, but so she looks just like a lab, but she's brown, but she's not like the right chocolate brown. I don't know. So I don't know what she is, but I decided I wanted to use this because it was so perfect. And I know we have a lot of browns here, but again, you can recreate this card in any color you want. But I like the brown. She's brown, so this is working out pretty well. I'm going to cut a little bit of foam tape, and I'm going to cut this in half. And I'm going to use this little doggy as a stop for my door. So I'm kind of looking here like this front paw all the way up. I don't want to put any adhesive. So now I can kind of flip her over. And let's see, I'm going to put a little bit here on her butt. Put another piece right here. I think that might be enough, but... yeah, I think that is plenty. So I'll save this for another project. And let's pull this off. Release paper off. Now make sure you don't get your tape on the panel. So now this keeps that little door closed, which to me I really like. I don't like it when they pop open all the time. And then you can just pull this open. And there you go, you got your card. And then as you pull them together, you just pick up her head a little bit and it pops right back in. So that I just think is so cool. I totally have a ton of brown in here. I decided we needed one little pop of color, and you know what? The best I could come up with, or I thought what looked the best as I was playing around, is red. It's just, and then we have, you know, True Love. So I thought we should put a little heart right here on our puppy. Oh. And just because you should do things in 3s, I think I'm going to put one down here. You could just leave it that one little pop. I like that too. I'm going to put one up here too. But now I just think this just brightens the card up, and it is just enough to kind of take the message and drive it home. The True Love has 4 paws. Oh. And there we go. We have our card. Now, this is the hard part for me. Do we or do we not cut off this tail? Oops, I just knocked the heart off. Maybe I should let those dry. I don't know. So, I'm going to ask you guys, what should we do? Should we cut off the tail or not cut off the tail? I'm going to show you my other card. I did cut off the tail because obviously it won't fit in a standard envelope. But I could put this in a 5x7 envelope and kind of preserve that tail a little bit, maybe. I don't know. I don't know if it would get wrecked through the mail or not. But here are my 2 versions. I have a this and a that. What do you think? They're exactly the same, other than I cut the tail off on the puppy. Oh, it was hard to do the first time around. What do you think of this card layout? Was this something you would try? What a cool way, at least for me, this is going to be a nice way to use up some of this 6x6 paper. I could do a bunch of these, you know, in different colors or whatever, and kind of fill up my card box a bit. So I'm looking forward to that. I love this sentiment. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll give it a shot. Leave me a message. Tell me what you think, guys, and I'll catch you on the next video.